Okay, sorry about that. All right, I'm sorry. I should have waited a bit longer to do this, but I just want to get this done right quick, and y'all can just watch when you can. So apologies if you didn't get the notification. Like I say, I'm erratic. I guess you could say erratic and a bit too much in the moment. But when I saw this, I thought I had to respond to it. It's good old Justin King, aka Bo the Fifth Column, again. And he decides to give his takes on Joe Biden and Donald Trump and slinging mud. And hey, what's going on, Red Dindonian? What's going on, Tim and Jin? And so let me just make it clear, is I remain a centrist. And ultimately, it makes no difference if Joe Biden wins or Donald Trump wins. Yes. Thank you very much, Red Dindonian. I appreciate that. What I was going to say, though, is, I don't hold any great love for either Donald Trump or Joe Biden. I don't care at this point. I will learn to play the game. That's all I will learn how to do. And of course, like I say, people may say, oh, that's kind of liberal, or that's whichever. I don't know. But at the end of the day, that's all we can do. It makes no difference to me if it's Donald Trump or if it's Joe Biden. But what I will find to be funnier is people like Bo the Fifth Column who have said Joe Biden is going to be better than Donald Trump. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. You can hate Donald Trump for all the, for all the mistakes he's made, which I don't doubt any of them. What I will say, though, is that if you think that Joe Biden is going to make everything better or is going to, somehow give some prestige, it's ridiculous. Yeah, will either of them stop bombing kids on foreign countries? Doubtful. Neither one of them will. Like I say, Trump is very vague in his anti-imperialism, if you will, if we want to use that cringe term. But, in general, no. But let's get into this video right quick. And then I'm just going to vibe. But yeah, this is absolutely ridiculous.
Howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So today we're going to talk about Joe Biden. We're going to talk about Joe Biden, the Trump campaign, the Trump campaign's current strategy, what they hope to achieve by deploying this strategy, and why they're deploying this strategy so late in the game. And after all that, we're going to talk about why it doesn't matter. It certainly appears that the Trump campaign's current strategy is to release information about Biden.
Now, to be fair, I don't think this is full on the Trump administration. The information that's being released through Taiwanese, through a Taiwanese kind of YouTube, their Taiwanese YouTube kind of thing, that GTV. I think that doesn't have much to do with the Trump campaign. It has more to do with other internal stuff to do with Steve Bannon, who, okay, let me break it down this way. Let me be careful. Okay, so there's this Mr. Guo, who is a billionaire. He used to be big in the CCP. He was a pretty big person, had a lot of connections with the Chinese Communist Party. Mr. Guo had a falling out, and he was being investigated for corruption. He ends up leaving China and ends up getting asylum in the United States. And so now Mr. Guo is, linked, sending all this information out. Same thing with this, the doctor in Hong Kong who's saying, we need to be against China and all this type of thing. Once again, I'm going to hold more of a centrist view on China in general and the Chinese Communist Party. Ultimately, Chinese Communist Party is doing what it has to do. And I think a lot of this is a fed honeypot, what I will say. But to say that it's purely the Trump administration, I don't think that's necessarily the truth. Like I say, Steve Bannon was kicked out quite a while back. And like I say, Steve Bannon working with this Mr. Guo to reveal this information about Hunter Biden. And I'm not going to show you. I'm not going to do that. I'm not that stupid. What I will say is, so what, basically? I think a lot of people online, I've seen it. Like I say, I've seen the pics and I've seen all that. It is what it is. The foot job thing and all that, and what's happened to Ashley Biden. And I'm not going to get into it. It's just basically another Pizzagate, and I'm not going to, like I say, you can have your own opinions on it. I'm going to remain centrist and try to keep my head above water. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happened with that. Yeah, he will destroy the American empire. Yeah, I do think that. Yeah, like I say, I do think that if Donald Trump does get elected, he will help create the division that is going to happen anyway. To me, it's accelerationism. And you can feel, accelerationism is really this or it's really that. To me, accelerationism, at least now, is just allow the collapse to happen and watch the fireworks. That's basically what accelerationism means to me. Let the fireworks commence, and we'll see who is funding whom. That's it. That's all that matters. That's all I care about at the end of the day. And maybe that's a nihilistic point of view. Yeah, actually, I know it is a nihilistic point of view, but that's how I feel. So I just want to get that out of the way. Let's get into this a bit further.
Every other day until the election, in the hopes of creating a parallel, making people draw an equivalency. They have identified the fact that many Americans are tired of the constant drama that accompanies a Trump administration. They want to create the image that a Biden administration will be the same way. By doing that, they hope to decrease voter enthusiasm around Biden. That appears to be the strategy. Why are they deploying it this late in the game? My read on it is that the information is not really reliable, that it creates a false narrative. It is something that is going to be easily debunked. The problem is it's so close to the election. Will it be debunked in time? If this was something that was verifiable and credible, they would have released it before early voting started, but they didn't. They're waiting till now because it appears as though they're just targeting those emotional voters who happen to be voting on election day. They want to decrease their turnout, suppress the vote, undermine democracy, and all that. That's how it appears. And they don't want it debunked before it happens. I'll be honest. I am personally really, really tired of debunking Trump's lies. After
you have made so many videos. You have made so many videos on Donald Trump. You have made a career, literally a career on YouTube out of debunking Trump and promoting your sort of false idea of anarchism. What are you talking about? And his pithy, pitiful response, go ahead, is
years of doing
it is astounding.
So today I want to go in a different direction. Today I want to try something.
Also, speaking of honeypots, why does everyone I watch fall for that right-winger's plan to kidnap the mayor's story? That is true. It is, yeah. Could you give us some insight and background on Texan separatism? On Texan separatism. Okay. On Texas separatism, I think that the thing is that Texas used to be an independent country for a brief time. And the idea is, well, we can create our own country now. Realistically, right now, that's probably not going to happen. But it seems like every decade or so, I mean, now it's coming to California as well. There's this idea that, well, Texas can break off and we're going to start our own country again. And this comes up on, the ballot measure. Well, not ballot, excuse me, not ballots. But it comes up in, signatures. It comes up in, kind of these very fringe sorts of ideas. Yeah. Yeah. Texas is the only state to enter the U.S. voluntarily. That is true. Yeah. So, like I say, right now, it's not very realistic, but I think that the energy is out there. And it depends on if that energy goes out a bit further. If that bug, if you will, that idea of Texas wanting to separate. What's going on, Autarkic People's Republic? How are you? If that bug spreads out into the mainstream of Texas, so far it hasn't. So far it's just remained kind of a fringe idea. But basically, to answer your question, that's kind of how I see it. Yeah, Israel's favorite president is going to make Israel's sugar daddy fall. Therefore, Israel with it. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go ahead and hear some more of this, though. So he's tired of debunking Trump and all the lies that he said. After about 4 or 5 years of doing this, he has created a YouTube career. He's got 458,000 followers, nearly 500,000 followers. But he's tired of debunking Trump. Is he going to debunk Biden the same way? I don't know. If Biden does get elected, will that happen the same way? I don't know. You tell me. Will he talk about Kamala Harris in any negative terms? This and that. We'll have to see. It's going to be interesting to say the least. But yeah, we shall see.
Something new. It's all true. Everything the Trump administration, the Trump campaign has alleged or will allege about Joe Biden is true. All of it. To be clear, I haven't seen any evidence that convinces me that any of it is true, but right now we're just going to assume that it's all true.
All right.
In fact, I have emails. I don't have emails, but we're going to pretend that I do.
That would be a great meme to bank out of, but it's not even worth it. But yeah, go ahead.
Emails outline a conversation between Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, because apparently Hunter Biden is running for office as well. And
yep, kind of like how people talk about. Once again, I hate to do this. I'm going to sound more like a MAGA people. I'm just going to say it is. Trump Jr. doesn't run for office, and yet people shit on him all the time. They shit on the rest of his family. They talk about Ivanka and all that business, but of course, they're not running for office. So like I say, maybe that's just a small brain, smooth brain type of argument. But to me, that just seems like the argument at hand. It's like, well, okay, or even Tiffany. Look at here, the Young Turks. Tiffany Trump gives a awkward LGBTQ speech for her dad. So once again, she's not running for office. And you talk about Hunter Biden. All his connections with, Ukraine, or, now it's allegedly coming out about how he's worked with China. It's a whole, like I say, I'm not going to get into the specifics of it. You can go ahead and find that for yourself. But to say, oh, well, he's not running for office, it has never worked that way. Anything is fair game in politics. Okay? That's why people don't get into politics, because they know that if you get into politics and you do something stupid, or your family member does something stupid, then it will never leave you alone. Whether it's Billy Beer, by Billy Carter, Billy Carter getting support from the Republic, or I can't remember, but Billy Carter, I think, getting support from Iran, I think, unironically, I think. I'm not sure, but yeah. Or the deals with Bill Clinton's brother, or, any of these types of things. I mean, the same thing goes for celebrities, too. Same thing with J.C. Chan, Jackie Chan's son, who was busted for smoking weed with a friend of his from Taiwan, and they were both in Beijing. He was going to get the death penalty because China is very hard, still to this day, on drug dealers. And on people who smoke weed. You think that, you think America's bad. Wait until you go to China. But that, once again, that's China. That's their business. Nothing but respect for China. I got nothing but love for China. I got nothing but love for the CCP. Why not? Inshallah. Yeah, exactly. But it's ridiculous to me, though, when, people like that just say dumb shit like that. Go ahead.
They plan on going into the Treasury, putting masks on, and taking $100 million, $1 billion out of the Treasury and putting it in their pockets.
Okay. Well, you could say, the thing is, at least you could be somewhat good faith and talk about what actually happened in Ukraine, or actually talk about the business dealings that happened in China or in Taiwan. But yeah, I know it's okay. I know we don't want to do that.
Okay. Assume that's true. Again, I have no evidence that any of these allegations are true. However, Joe Biden is a politician. I am super comfortable assuming that all politicians are corrupt. That is a generalization that has rarely...
I can agree with that. That's a rare take that I can agree with. Go ahead.
...let me down in my life. So right now, it's all true. Everything the Trump administration has alleged or will allege is true, and there are mythical emails showing that they plan on taking $1 billion the day after they take office.
I've never heard that. I heard about allegations of pedophilia and a child sex ring, but I've never heard about this taking $1 billion business. But go ahead.
Okay, accept all of that as fact, and let's move on with the campaign. First issue. Joe Biden takes the public health issue seriously. Trump does not, because of...
How do you know he takes it seriously? I mean, this is a serious, and I'm not trying to be funny or try to be trolly here. How does he take it seriously? How? How does he take, I mean, what? He says that 220,000 people died. Yeah, that's awful. But the thing is that maybe, dare I say it, but I think America deserves it. But on a bigger level, though, is, okay, then how does he take it? I mean, how does he take it seriously? Because he mentions it? Because he gives lip service to it? I don't get that. I really don't. I mean, go ahead. I mean, if you think that's going to, go ahead. I'm done. Go ahead.
Of Trump's ineffective and ruinous leadership, 225,000 holes have been dug. Because Biden takes it seriously, we can safely assume that by the time it's all said and done, he will have saved 225,000 people.
Really? The thing is that, you know, regardless of what people say, is that the deaths are going to happen either way, okay? And that's me being blunt and honest. Now, that's not me just saying, you know, that I, you know, glorify death or this and that. I'm just saying is that people will die, regardless of who becomes president on January 1st or January 31st, 2020. What is it? What is it? What is Inauguration Day? You know what? I'm sorry. It's sad that I'm an American and I don't know. Inauguration Day. January 20th. There we go. I knew it was somewhere in January. I'm sorry. Oh, my American card gone. Okay. Wednesday, January 20th. You know.
Do the math. Do the math
this
on
is
that.
This is one of the saddest things, though, to me. We are you know, the thing is that Americans, we are some of the dumbest people. We are the dumbest people in terms of elections. And look, you know what? You can blame the founding fathers. You can blame whoever you want to. But the thing is, we are the most retarded when it comes to politics. And over this very fake binary, this very false binary between Democrat and Republican. It is. It's ridiculous. The political arguments that go back and forth of, well, this person did this or this person did that. It's ridiculous. Oh, we are. And I will say this as a natural born American citizen. We are retarded when it comes to this. We fall for this bullshit every time. They say, you know, when it's not an election year, oh, don't fall for the campaign promises. And then what do? We fall for the campaign promises every time. We fall for them. We fall for them every single time. And it's sad to see, folks. It is. It is sad to see. But yeah, don't feel bad. It's fake. Yeah. What's going on, Benedict? Vote Stalin 2020. Might as well at this point. Might as well vote Stalin, you know? Yeah. Might as well, you know. Hoorah! Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous, you know? Yeah. It's just, yeah, I can't believe this whole thing. I made a playlist called Vanguard Approved Videos. I'll leave the link. It allows you to add videos to it. Oh, cool. Okay. Sorrell 2020, Milosevic 2020. Yeah, exactly. Might as well. Go ahead.
That $1 billion. I should have stuck with 100 million because I'd already done the math on that. 4,400 and something dollars per life saved. I'm okay with that. If that's what
you're okay with them embezzling money. Oh, I love that. Oh, I'm okay with them embezzling money, even if it's in, you know, even if this is a. Go ahead.
Cost to get somebody in there who's actually going to do the job and save American lives. Once again,
Well, actually, no, there's no once again. I just like saying once again. He has given takes to say that Joe Biden is going to be better on foreign policy. Really? The guy who has said, he was saying that basically he strong-armed the country of Ukraine. Like I say, Ukraine is nothing more than a U.S. colony. That's all it is. The country of Ukraine is nothing but a puppet state. That's all it is. It is a puppet state of the United States and Israel, period. Joe Biden came in and he said, hey, if you don't fire that, fire that judge, I'm going to come in, you're not going to get that check. And then eventually they gave in. But the thing is that to say that he's good at foreign policy is ridiculous. Once again, he will make things much worse. It's like, with Donald Trump at the very least, he has made good policies with the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. He's at least given some lip service to it. Do they still hate Trump and still hate America? Of course. Of course they still hate the United States. Apologies for saying America. I'm sorry. I thought I just automatically say it. But it's like, but in general, we have good relations with the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Joe Biden would make it worse. I guarantee it. But ultimately, Americans, we are so selfish. We don't care about the rest of the world. We only care about making things better for ourselves. We only care about the image. That's very true about Americans. We only care about the image. People don't like Donald Trump for this basic reason. It's because it makes the United States look bad. Because Trump is a reflection of the United States. And I think no matter if you're left wing or right wing, that's the truth. Donald Trump is simply pointing the mirror, while pointing the mirror at himself, is pointing the mirror at all of us. And we don't like what we see. We would rather have an Obama who talks nicely for the most part. He speaks well, and he makes his funny little jokes and goes on, these various news places, apart from, Hillary Clinton supporting the bombing of Libya and saying, we came, we saw, we conquered. That evil laugh that she did. So, and of course, I know, but then people will bring up, oh, what about Iran? What about the Paris, the Paris climate accords? I don't give a fuck about any of that. Okay. And it's like, in general, I will support Iran. I will put it that way. But in general, I don't think that's, the thing is that we all knew that Donald Trump was a Zionist and will ultimately do what his masters tell him to do. I'll put it that way. But yeah, people just want to go back to respectable politics. That's all it is. They want to go back to respectable politics. They want to go back to, oh, yes, Joe Biden is going to bring back that sort of, that Obama feeling. Oh, yes, Donald Trump, being so rough. And the thing is that Americans are rough. We're all, somewhat just uneducated people who just act like we're the best in the world. When in reality, we're not really that good. I'll be honest. Let's continue.
I'm okay with that. I think most Americans would be okay with a $1 billion price tag to save 250,000 lives.
Wait a minute. So you're, go ahead.
The point here is that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. There is no allegation the Trump administration, the Trump campaign can make about Joe Biden that is going to make Biden be the one who is worse for the country. That's not going to happen. If you are pragmatic and do the math and just assume that Biden is ridiculously corrupt to an impossible level, he's still the lesser of two evils.
And you know what the whataboutism is? The whataboutism is Kamala Harris. The whataboutism is the fact that he has, people from CNN who are always, or at least who are always on CNN, who are on his campaign. Or, the other countless the cope that people will have for the fact that he, will put on, Obama neophytes into the cabinet. All this sort of thing. But who cares? These are the people that are supposed to be fighting neoliberalism. This face right here is supposed to be fighting neoliberalism. Is that fighting it? And the thing is, while I'm on the point, you have people like Vaush who think somehow that when Biden reveals himself to be the crook that he is, or the compromised politician that he is, that suddenly the left is going to spring up and is going to, the left that can't even get defunding the police a thing because they revel in things like Chaz, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, where 2 people died, one by gang violence, the second one was killed by their own security forces. That left, that American left, or the United States left, that can't even, that all they can are reduced to going through, busy city streets, and seeing alfresco restaurants. Alfresco is outside, eating outside, just in case, and screaming at the patrons there. And I know Black Lives Matter isn't the real left, though. Look at the PSL, this and that. Okay, fine. I'm just saying is that the image of the left is Black Lives Matter right now. And if that's your whole praxis right now, then the left in the United States is doomed. Because, you are turning people off. But yeah, go ahead.
This isn't praise for Joe Biden. I've said it before. He's not my man. I don't think he's going to be a great president. I just expect him to put a tourniquet on. That's it.
You know what? And here's my nihilism point when I first heard this. I don't want to put a tourniquet on. I don't. You know what? I'm just going to say it. I want the United States to bleed out. I don't want this fake recovery when, it's like, oh my gosh, I put the tourniquet on. And then you find out 2 years later that you have cancer. That's terminal. No, I wouldn't want to do that. I'd say I'd rather bleed out. If someone from the future told me that 4 years later is that, well, you have terminal cancer, sir, then I would say, I'll bleed out then. All right. And I know that's an extreme point, but I'll say it. I'd rather bleed out. If you realize that this further down the line, we're going to have climate change and all this other stuff that's going to be affected. I don't deny climate change. What I will say is, why not just let it happen? Why not let the chips fall where they may? Why should we continue to lie to ourselves and be like, well, Joe Biden's going to make things better, at least temporarily. He'll stop people from dying. No, he's not. He's not going to stop people from dying. He's going to give more of a respectable image. That's it. He's going to give a more respectable image. And he can barely keep that. He barely has that. When he's saying things like, clap for me, you bastards, and all this type of thing. That's all he can do. Now, if you want to live in that world and live in that little fantasy where you think that somehow if you're a leftist like people like Bo the Fifth Column or Vaush, at least they call themselves left wing. If you really think that, Joe Biden and bourgeois democracy is easier to fight than fascism, go ahead. But for me, I say, let it happen. Stop trying to lie to ourselves. Why keep up something that is going to fall anyway? Why? But that's my thinking. It's probably not good, but yeah. Yep, totally astroturfed, yeah. All this chaos under heaven, the situation is excellent. Yeah, Mao Zedong, yeah. If you don't fight for Biden, you ain't black. Yeah, exactly. America doesn't deserve respect. No, we don't. Yep, if it were normal people and right-wingers, the FBI would be drone struck immediately, yeah. Crazy and low-key event. 2020, we had separatist armed insurgency allowed to take over territory. Yeah, no one cares about precedent sets. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, actually, scratch that. It's just that it's just ridiculous, you know? Like I say, apologies if I went kind of nihilistic there and kind of went more fatalistic. I don't want it. It's like, look, realistically, just to cover my ass. It's like, if you're realistically bleeding, put a tourniquet on, all right? But still, I should just say that for the record. But, maybe I'm just being a coward. Go ahead.
Even with that incredibly low standard and adding in the idea that he is incredibly corrupt, he's still the lesser of two evils. He is still better for the country.
I thought we weren't voting for lesser of two evils. I thought we were so against that. Remember when I don't like voting for the lesser of two evils? Remember all that? I guess all that shit went out the window.
Than Trump. It's not praise for Biden. It's showing how bad Trump is. So my suggestion is for the rest of the election season to just assume that everything the Trump administration says is true. When it comes to Biden, it's all true. And then do the math. Just as a mental exercise, assume it's true and then do the pragmatic math. And when he still ends
up... What is Biden going to do, by the way? It's like, what is he going to do? It's like, it doesn't matter who's president. If there's a vaccine that's being produced, it's going to come out when it's going to come out. It doesn't matter who the fuck is president. So this type of bullshit where it's like, oh, well, Biden's going to save this many people. So you say. The thing is that, it's like, I'm not here to praise Biden. It's like, I have seen videos where you did praise Biden for his foreign policy. I have seen your takes on it where it's just like, well, Joe Biden isn't this, he isn't that. It's not praise for him, but just be honest about it. Just be honest about it. You just want a more respectable face. But to me, it's going to be interesting to see. This is basically, this could be a 2012 all over again, where Obama comes in and, dick riding Obama and all that type of shit, and then slowly but surely he just does the same type of shit and, continues to bomb people, this and that. And people will ignore it until the second term, and then they'll be like, yeah, Obama's pretty bad. But of course, people are retarded. People are nothing but ants in a lot of ways, and they just follow what they think is true. But that's my take.
Being the lesser of two evils, that should show you how important it is for Trump to lose. How bad Trump is for this country.
What does it matter? If it doesn't make a difference and Biden is slightly the lesser of two evils? I mean, the thing is, look, Donald Trump probably has maybe 10 years in terms of a life cycle. I'll put it that way. If he gets kicked out, I mean, people are talking like, oh, well, we need to storm the, because, Trump is going to, make himself dictator for life. I doubt that. He'll take the L and he'll go back to Mar-a-Lago and he'll live out the rest of his days. And he'll probably have a YouTube channel, where he can rant and rave for the last couple of years of his life. I'm fine with that. Honestly, I don't care. But it's like, with Joe Biden, he's just going to get progressively worse mentally. And I know you could say the same thing with Trump and say he's mentally off. Fine. Yeah. Same thing. But to me is that when Joe Biden eventually, is incapacitated, we'll put it that way. Let's not say die, but let's say at least incapacitated. Then you get a President Kamala Harris. You get Cop Mala and all that business. And of course, the lefties don't want to talk about that in general. The ones who really support Joe Biden, they're like, well, Kamala Harris is bad, but, People think somehow that this 4D chess move is going to work. It didn't work for the alt-right when Donald Trump was elected. What makes you think this 4D chess move for Biden is going to work? What makes you think that? That's my real question. Because people thought, honestly, that, build that wall, or, lock her up. None of that happened. Do you think that Joe Biden is going to somehow, save all those folks that are going to die? That are potentially going to die, I'll put it that way. No. People are going to die either way. And this sort of praising of this one man is so opposite of the type of shit that you should be preaching about. Disgusting. I'll put it that way. Disgusting.
It doesn't matter what
two
they
fossils
say.
trying to outcompete
It doesn't
one
matter
another.
if it's easily debunked. It doesn't matter if you've already seen it debunked. It doesn't matter if the evidence is flimsy or it came from a foreign intelligence service. Just believe it for a split second and say, okay, this is true, and do the pragmatic math. At the end of the day, I'm willing to bet that Joe Biden will always be the lesser of two evils.
Fine.
I am sick and tired of people who appear to have the moral and ethical compass that this administration appears to have slinging mud. They don't have
No. And I don't claim they do. Go ahead.
any room to. Even if you were to up that number to $10 billion, you would still sit there and be like, well, at least he didn't have people arguing in court that children didn't need toothbrushes or beds.
You think Joe Biden is going to change anything about those camps? Hell with it. I'll just say it. For for migrants, the migrant camps down in Texas and down in Arizona. You think Joe Biden is going to change that? Like I say, a lot of promises can be made. It's a whole other thing once, the thing is a lot of people can run their mouths, but not a whole lot of people are going to do something about it. And that's the difference. That's the difference.
There is no allegation the Trump campaign can make that is going to make Biden be the one who's worse for the country.
Yep. I want to watch this a year later and see how many videos Mr. Justin King here does about what Joe Biden has done. I want to see that. I cannot wait to see the shift in opinions of the folks who finally they give up on Joe Biden and they just say screw him, revolution all the way, or the people like him and Vosh who are going to hold on to the idea, yeah, Biden's great, Biden's this and that. I can't wait. I cannot wait to see the hypocrisy and the way that they will change their own rhetoric, how their rhetoric will change between this year and next year. If we survive that long, who knows? We may be dead by that time. In that case, we're on the road to nowhere. Come on and down. Whatever. Yeah.
Biden will always end up being the lesser of two evils. Yeah. It's not that he's that good.
Obama created the cages, and some of the pictures were from Obama administration. Yeah. Mm-hmm. True.
So
isn't even black and triggers Americans' hatred of black women. Yep. She's a pure form of DMV lady.
That it doesn't matter what allegations are made, that Biden still ends up being the lesser of two evils. If anything, that should show you how important it is for Trump to lose, and it should increase voter enthusiasm.
The thing is that there will still be a deadlock in Congress. There will still be jobs that are lost. I mean, Joe Biden can talk all day about electric cars, this and that, and sucking off people like Elon Musk. But the thing is, it's all just diatribe. It's all just words. This isn't like even FDR. This isn't like the words of, FDR to create all these different programs, this and that. None of that's coming. None of that is coming for you. UBI is the only real future for Americans. More jobs will be lost, and you're going to get a check for $1,000 a month. That's it. That's it. There is nobody that's going to come save you. I do realize this at the end of the day. I think that even Justin King here believes me to a point that no matter what, Joe Biden is not going to save you. Donald Trump isn't going to save you. You can probably barely save yourself. All you can do is just try to stay sane, avoid the bullshit, and when worst comes to worst, stick with your choice of group that you choose. And yeah, that's it. That's the only future that exists. You know, it's a very bleak time. I don't have anything really positive to say, but yeah, go ahead.
Because Trump is that bad. He is that bad. There's no amount of mudslinging coming from his campaign that is going to alter how bad he is. I can't think.
It's been a while since I brought this up, but the thing is that people want to talk shit about Donald Trump. The thing is that Donald Trump was a registered Democrat for most of his life. And once again, yeah, just like I say, you can say they both suck, this and that. But I don't care about those types of things. I'm more concerned with what happens in the states and the actual individual state governments. The individual state governments are falling apart. California is going to destroy itself. There are other states that are going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. And honestly, that's probably going to be for the best. You know, we need to stop living in this fantasy that the United States can hold together as one nation. Or, you know, this Beau of the Fifth Column here, Justin King trying to eschew the idea that civil war wouldn't be a liberating aspect for the United States. The thing is, the United States has been spared huge, all out, across all states civil war. I don't know. You can say, well, what about the U.S. Civil War from 1861? That wasn't across all states. It happened mostly in Virginia, a couple battles in Texas, and of course going down to Georgia and burning things down. But it was a fairly limited war. And even then, it was much more organized and, it wasn't as impactful as the rest. When the Second Civil War comes up in the United States, it's going to be across the whole United States. And I believe that it's going to involve multiple countries that will come, that will get involved and everything else. And then we can finally, then we can finally see some true liberation. That's my take. And then we can have balkanization. Which will probably be better in the long run. I'll just say it.
Of many allegations that would alter that equation. Biden will always be the lesser of two evils. Biden will always be better for the country.
No, he won't. He's not good for foreign policy. He's going to, what is he going to, he's going to probably say something stupid in front of, Putin, and Putin's just going to be like, these dumb Americans, they are stupid blood, he already thinks that, but it's like, well, we'll see. Go ahead.
Because he's good, but because Trump's that bad. And when you have somebody that bad, it doesn't matter who replaces them.
Yes, it does. It does matter. The thing is that, would you say that about a CEO of a company? It's like, this guy's so bad that we're going to hire somebody that's a little bit less bad, who's going to keep us, it's like, I used to work for JCPenney. JCPenney fired this guy, Ullman, who used to be the CEO. They put in this guy, Ron Johnson, who used to work at Apple. They let go of Ron Johnson because he was making too many changes, and I think, ultimately they didn't like him. So what happened was they kicked him out. They kicked out Ron Johnson, and they put in the old CEO. And now JCPenney is close to bankruptcy and will probably end up closing within, I would say, 5 years. I could be wrong. JCPenney could just be bought out by somebody else. But more than likely, I think JCPenney will just go the way of the dodo, as Sears did, as Dillard's will eventually go, and everything else. So, yeah, to say that we're going to replace an idiot with someone who's slightly better, it's not always a better case scenario.
You just want to stop the damage being done.
That doesn't stop the damage being done at all. It's like climate change. If we really want to talk about it, the damage has already been done. The issues, it's like what's going to happen is going to happen. The hurricanes are going to get stronger. The, polar ice caps are going to continue to melt. We're going to continue to lose islands, et cetera, et cetera. And we're, as all the lefties want to say, is that we're going to get more climate refugees coming to America, this and that. So no, it's not going to make things better.
Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.
So that's my take. Like I say, the nihilism was kind of strong. Yeah, what ideology is this guy? He claims to be an anarchist. Yeah. He claims to be an anarchist, but yeah. Not what he actually is, but in his head, what is he? In his head, I think he's more of a progressive. That's my take, yeah. There are people, these people are total dopes. Biden and Obama laid the groundwork for Trump to take the seat. Why couldn't someone like Trump or someone worse take the seat after? Exactly. Pro-Biden anarchist, yeah. Like I say, it's just absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? Him trying to appeal to normies forces him to take positions that no principled anarchist would support. Yeah. Like I say, this is, once again, we have, what is it? The woke protest going on. I'm going to show this just for a brief moment, just to make this, an even 1 hour stream. I'll show this for a little bit here. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Day 151 of the protest. 151. I made the joke that these protests are going to be longer than the Leningrad siege. The Leningrad siege lasted 900 days. It's like we're coming up almost to the halfway point of that. Well, actually, we're at the quarter point of that, I should say, yeah. But still, this is absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? And look at these comments of these folks. All these anarchists who are LARPing, they aren't going to go out there because they're smart enough to know that if they went out there, they would get their ass whooped or they'd end up in jail. But this is the shit that's going on, right? They had these protests, talking about, cut the check, this and that, reparations. If reparations happened, if reparations really happened, Asians would start to riot, Hispanics would riot, and it would destroy the idea that it's just white supremacy. It doesn't make any sense to me when people want to talk about fascism or talk about evil white nationalism. How could that be if white folks are dying out? If white people are dying out, then what do you need to worry about? Oh, well, fascism or white nationalism is worse because white people are going to fight as hard as they can. I mean, if you want to say that, okay. Ooh, that wind. Ooh, that's a rough one. But yeah, national bro moment. It really is, yeah. These protests are a color revolution. Changed my mind. They really are, yeah. I don't agree with anarchists, but wouldn't real ones not even think in terms of what's best for extra country? They probably wouldn't, but they're trying to do what they're trying to do, at least in my view, is they're trying to do some 5D chess. Where they're like, well, if we do this move, then everyone is going to die out. Whites are first. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like I say, robots will take over probably. Who knows? Who knows? This planet will probably become like Mars, where there's only a few people left who live underground. That's probably what it is on Mars, isn't it? They probably just all live underground like mole people or something. It's gonna be interesting to see with Mars. That's what I want to wait for. I don't even care about the United States really. Whatever happens, happens. What I want to see what happens with Mars, don't you? It's like, what the hell happened to Mars, where it just became, this waterless planet, this and that. That seems more fascinating to me than, what happens on Earth. Maybe I should just get into sci-fi or something like that. What happens to Mars? I don't know. I don't know. That sounds much more interesting to me. Yeah. Yeah, everyone will die out, though. That is true. Yeah. Same with Venus. That is true. Yeah, that is interesting about Venus. About any planet like that. Who knows? Maybe the world is like, maybe the other universes, maybe they are like Star Trek. Maybe they're watching us right now, just laughing. Those silly Earthlings. How dare they think that? Maybe there's some robots or something. Yeah. Reparations will effectively destroy any left project. It really would. Yeah. We're all going to die. It's true. It's true. Depending on how religious you are, I would just say make your peace with life, make your peace with God, and that's all you can do. But you know what? That's a whole other story. Oh, I was going to try to make this an even hour-long stream, but I can't think of what else to say. Like I say, I had a good talk. I wasn't even halfway as nasty as I could have been, or halfway as loud as I could have been about Bo the Fifth Column, but he's kind of boring. Yeah, if only Nazbols could go to Mars, create a glorious Martian Nazbol Republic. Yeah, who knows? Yeah. Oh, like I say, though, it's kind of, the winter has arrived. The cold days have arrived, the wet days, maybe snow. I don't know. Yeah. You could play some Vosh. I could play some Vosh for a couple minutes. Yeah, I could play some Vosh. Don't listen to this guy. He's okay, but, we're not going to get into that right now. Let's go ahead and listen to some Vosh. Why not? Let's listen to him talk some shit.
Not much in the way of personal sacrifice. It's laid out pretty clear here. For all the 50 cents, dancing around talking about how, came from the hood, whatever. Represent the struggle of the streets. Now that he has made it, he is okay with white supremacy operating from the highest offices of our government, as long as he gets to hold more money.
So what?
And I know this should be surprising to some of you, but when it comes to class privilege in the United States of America, we have a very, very, very specific relationship with wealth, and it's one which is unique. There's no other country on earth that has it quite like us. In the past, I've criticized class reductionists who've said that there's basically only class privilege and class disprivilege, and that everything else is a distraction. I think that's a very dumb idea. I'm an intersectionalist, Even if you have a white and a black person
50
at
Cent
exactly
wouldn't
the
even
same
have had his name on the map if it wasn't for Eminem anyway. Eminem's white privilege literally is what brought 50 Cent to the top.
The white person probably won't, on average.
Ignore the fact that he went against Ja Rule and all that. That is hilarious.
And there are a lot of other problems, Even the most powerful women in the country are frequently mocked for their biology and for their competence, Hillary Clinton is a terrible person.
But she's not a fascist,
how much of the
apparently,
criticism
to you.
levied at Hillary Clinton was about her policy and her moral ineptitude? And how much of it was about how she's a disgusting, ugly bitch who couldn't even keep her husband busy, and she's ugly and dumb, and then she's going to nuke Iran or some shit like that? It was almost entirely about Hillary Clinton's gender. Even the powerful people who
it's
are
all
black,
about gender.
Women, Jewish, trans, whatever, they still face unique challenges. Now,
you don't care about any of that.
With that being said, there is one fact that I will defend to my dying breath.
Oh,
okay?
what's that?
Undeniable. Okay.
What's that?
And it is this. Class trumps all other privileges in America. It's the overriding privilege. because class is unique in that it can make up for other problems. It doesn't work that way elsewise. If you're poor, being white is like a maybe I'll get treated better by the cops kind of situation. If you're black, being a billionaire completely elevates you above the problems experienced by most people, black or white.
Not really.
Can eliminate other types of biases against you, or at least suppress their consequences massively. You know?
I would say that's not completely true. There's part of me that still says you can have all the money in the world, but especially with people like 50 Cent. I remember listening to this one guy, and it's like they can't even pull $1 million out of the bank, because if they pull that money out of the bank, they're going to get killed. So I think that ultimately there are levels to it, just like anything else. But yeah, I mean, if you want to live in the fantasy that 50 Cent somehow has all this power, this and that, I mean, go ahead and say 50 Cent is enabling white supremacy. That is a
$1.3 billion. I think the answer is pretty self-evident, honestly. It's pretty obvious, really. And this is not to say, again, that these other identities, these other issues don't matter, because they certainly do. But it sure does fucking explain what happened to 50 Cent. Because 50 Cent does not think of himself, first and foremost, as a black man. He thinks of himself as a millionaire, like all other millionaires do. First and foremost comes class awareness.
Why isn't he talking about Diddy, who's trying to start his own party and all that business? It's interesting, of course, that, yeah.
The wealthy always work in their own interests. Always, always, always. There are nice billionaires. There are billionaires who donate. But hey, it turns out donating to charities can get you dropped to lower tax brackets. And hey, if you do the roundabout, isn't it kind of interesting how even after Bill Gates stepped away from his company, he continued making money? That's kind of weird, you know? Philanthropy does not seem to have depleted this man's coffers very much at all.
Yeah.
It's interesting how that works. Class awareness amongst the wealthy is the strongest binding social.
That's true, Anon Kazan. Yeah. He did get busted for human trafficking. Yeah. It was 3 guys, you know, I'm not even going to say that. I'll just say 3 Hebrew guys that he worked for, and they threw him under the bus. He was bringing in people, I think, from the Baltics in there. But yeah, that's true. Yeah, 50 should get a Purple Heart. Yeah. This is hilarious.
Share an unbreakable bond of mutual class interest, okay?
All right. Okay. I'm not going to make y'all watch all that, because that's just cringe. It's too much cringe for one day, isn't it? Yeah. It's too much, yeah. But it's ridiculous, though, isn't it? Well, you know what? All I can say, folks, is just... all I can tell y'all is just to get through the day, wherever you are in the world, not to get too depressed. Even though I talked a lot, which was pretty nihilistic, I'll admit. But I think ultimately, be close to your family, if you have family. If you have friends, put your trust in them. And not to be taken in by anybody, you know. Yeah, too much cringe for an eternity. Yeah, it really is. But yeah, I would just say is that all you can do is get through today. And I know that's empty. It's empty rhetoric. I do realize that when I say that. But it's all I have right now. For me, I just, you know, I watch old kung fu movies and whatnot. And people have to make their own individual choices. And when things were going to get worse, and they will, all of us are going to have to make choices. Stay lit like Syria. Oh, Lord have mercy. But all I can tell you is just to try to keep your head on your shoulders. To just not get too wrapped up in all this. Find something you like. Do that. And just try not to not to let it swallow you whole. Don't let this politics. Yeah, God bless, gang. Definitely, God bless. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try to stretch these out a little bit. Good night, mate. Yeah, good night to you too as well, Benedict. I'll just say is that all I can tell you is just try to get through today. Make your peace with the Lord. There I get too religious. I'm not going to get that religious, but yeah, base family tank is true, man. Yeah. Like I say, maybe I'll find something positive. I'll upload something positive. Maybe it's a little bit too dreary outside, but maybe I'll find a little kung fu movie clip and I'll upload that. Just something nice. I don't know. Maybe I'll show some video of my cat or something. I don't know. Maybe. Let's not. I'm not going to do that. That's kind of a little too much. But yeah, everyone worships something. Yeah, that's true. But I think with that, I think I've said my piece. I hope y'all all enjoy wherever you are in the world. I hope that I wish you all the best of luck that you can. As much as things are changing. Yep, see you later, Red Dundonium. And yeah, this is a long ass goodbye. I'll just say goodbye, and we'll keep it there.